We back again for another episode of Difference of Opinion. This week's topic, COVID-19. How y'all doing, fellas?
Good, man. Good.
I'm good.
All right, COVID. It crept up on us in the middle of spring break for some of us, and for others, I think Florida was just coming off spring break. I mean, Texas was just coming off spring break. Florida was going on spring break, and voila, here we go. Something that we thought was just a 1 week vacation when it first started. Give me your insight, man. What y'all thought when it first happened? Because for myself, I just thought I had an extra week out of work.
Well, I know for me, that's what I saw there. But I was 2 weeks. I was like, ooh, we got Christmas break. We got Christmas break in the spring. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm on that, like all the way. But once it started to come down and a lot of the different opinions about things and what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do, and then just the whole shutting down of certain things, that's when it really kind of kicked in. Like, all right, we in a state where I know for us, we 24/7 live. We out. We out. It could be 3-4 in the morning. They out. So I knew just from that retrospect and being as though that the Super Bowl was like a month and a half before. I kind of knew it was going to be something real serious down here, especially with us being a port, an entry port for the cruise ships and produce and different things like that. I kind of knew it was going to get serious quick. Then we was hearing about the cruise ships that were stuck out to sea. They couldn't port. They had, people on there that they had to quarantine in their room. So for me, it got serious real quick, especially from an aspect of, my wife is pregnant, and so now I'm looking like, yeah, we can't take no chances with this. So for me, it got serious real fast.
What about you, Lo?
It was, man. I didn't know how to take it at first. I'm a researcher, so I just always listen and research. But I just knew, like you said, like, okay, well, we got some time off. I get to relax a little bit, and I looked at it primarily from that perspective, really. I say, let me figure out what this is, but at the same time, I got some time off.
Man, as for me, we were sitting in, like you said, Matt. The Super Bowl was down in South Florida, so I know that was big. But here in Texas, I knew it was serious when they shut the rodeo down. It's people, it's people all year that they wait for that rodeo. That's their livelihood.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And they shut the rodeo down in the middle. Like the rodeo goes on for how long? Like 3 weeks, Marlon?
Yeah, they go for
Yeah. So for like 3 weeks, and we were at the end of the first week before the concerts, before like the major events of the rodeo, man, and that thing shut down, and I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? And when that happened, that was after March Madness took their stance. The NBA still hadn't done anything yet, but March Madness had already canceled, and the NBA shut down. And then I was like, all right, this may be something that we may not be prepared for, or something that it's bigger than what we see. And I didn't know how serious it was going to get, and then you look at the impact that it started to have on sports. The first thing that I seen major was the summer games. They decided very early, hey, we're gonna push it to next year. Do you guys feel that was the right move at that time when it was made? Obviously now we know it's the right thing, but at that time when it was made back in in March that decision was made, did you feel that was the right decision?
I mean, for them, in retrospect to that being more of like a world type of game, and different areas affected in at different times and at different levels. I think for them, there was no wait and see part about that, because like I say, it was like March, so around by June, that's what, 2 months. Around by June, they starting to really put all of the coordinating things together. So I think for them, just because it was a world type of game where they bringing other people in from different areas, and the levels being high over here, not here, they kind of had to take a stance quick about the games.
Yeah, I really feel when everything started coming out, a lot of countries probably was looking at China, probably was looking at us and our numbers and different things, and it might have been a situation where you had countries pulling out of the Olympics. So I think it was the right call at the time. You never know. I know for us, one of the hardest things for us was just shutting down. I was talking with one of my partners today. He was just telling me he was overseas playing in Russia, and they got him out of Russia just in time. And he's like not literally days after they got back, somebody sent him a video of what was going on in Russia, and the government made it very simple for them: stay in your house for 14 days or go to prison for 5 years. I don't think we got hit with a quarantine or a shutdown like that, but just being told we couldn't do certain things, for some of us, it was a problem, man. At the end of the day, I'm not sure we are still taking it serious enough, but also then it's like, hey, now it's to a point where we're starting to question everything we hear. What's your take? Marlon, you do a lot of research, so what's your take with COVID?
I kind of have a difference of opinion.
Well, go ahead.
First, you always want to preference it by saying, I don't take anything lightly. I don't take anybody's situation lightly. Anybody that's lost somebody, I don't take that lightly. It's not something that I just overlook or I'm not concerned about, because I am greatly concerned about that. But at the same time, I just feel like it's too much information out there, whereas the people who we are supposed to be listening to, whether it's the CDC, the NIH, or the WHO, today they got it, then tomorrow they changed it up. So I'll actually listen to a lot of scientists and that have done interviews and that have been removed from YouTube, removed from Facebook, that have went against wearing masks, went against the shutdown, and they've stated receipts, and they've talked even against the vaccines, and they've stated receipts and places to research it. So I've researched those things, and I'm not really a big fan of allowing somebody else to control me when the way we were born. If you, whatever God or however you believe in, if we needed a mask, we would have been born with one. We start talking about polio, AIDS, everything else. These are man-made diseases, engineered diseases, and apparently, listening at everything that they've been said, this is not natural. It's an engineered disease again. So why are they, for them to strike fear into us and make us want to stay in the house? Man and humans were not made to stay in the house. For us to wear masks, men and women, humans were not made to wear masks. So, people say the longer you wear a mask, you compromising your immune system as well. But other people say you wear the mask so you don't infect somebody else. If you might be getting ready to get it, you might not know that you got it, but you don't want to affect somebody else. Okay, cool. Well, while I'm not infecting somebody else, I'm compromising my immune system myself. So, and somebody said, well, doctors wear the mask all the time. They wear the mask during surgery when the patient is open, so that they don't infect that person, and then they guess what? They take the mask off and they go back to their normal life. So I look at it a little bit different.
What about you, Mac?
I mean, for me, it's kind of I'm with Marlon, back and forth because it's just like all of this stuff that's coming out, man. You can't even pinpoint who telling what's right, and because it changes from day to day. It's flip flop. One day they say they found something that helped with it. The next day, no, that wasn't it. And so for me, it's just all about for me, it's just all about making sure I'm taking my vitamins, my different emergency C, things like that. And like I'm getting ready to get back into football, so for me, it's just making sure that I'm doing um, all of the things I need to do to number one, make sure that I'm just protecting my family. If it hit me, it hit me. I take that. You know what I'm saying? But I can't have my wife and my kids like that would devastate me. Personally. But just trying to make sure I'm doing everything that I need to do to make sure that my household is taken care of. So I kind of really don't even listen to the whole thing. I'm just ESPN in it all day long. So for me, it's like, okay, this been 4 months now. All right, I get y'all. Okay, cool. But I'm just like, man, let's keep moving forward and do what you need to do for your family. I mean, that's what it boils down to.
I mean, for me, it's definitely, you read, you listen, you talk. I talk to experts in the health field, but at the end of the day, I just go back and look at a lot of things. We started SAC last week, and I was seeing how the kids were with the mask, and like you said, Marlon, they were just uncomfortable walking with them. And then you have certain people that refuse to wear them. You have certain people that refuse to put them on. You know what I mean? And I've always had my reservations about certain things. You touched into the man-made diseases and different things, and at some point you do feel, hey, is it a push towards something bigger, something greater? Is it something to take our mind off of, the things that may come at the end of the year? You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, they've locked us away for so long, and these numbers that come out, you ask yourself, where's the data coming from? Where's the proof? So on and so forth. And you start to relax your guard. Now, I do have a teenage son that at the end of the day, when he get ready to go outside, and I have to kind of remind him, hey, buddy, you need to do this, or you might need to do this at this time, or the law states this at this time. You know what I mean? So those things, like you said, Marlon, we're not even thinking about, because it's not human nature to sit here and say, hey, I can't walk out the door without my mask today. You know what I mean? But I do say, hey, before you walk out the door, make sure you take your vitamin C. Make sure you have your emergency pack. Take this D3 pill. Make sure you're good. You know what I mean? Those things that you sit and you want to make sure that they do, so that they do stay safe. I do have a 2-year-old whose immune system is not as built up as the rest of our immune system. So we try to make sure that we do the things we need to, because there are still things here. But in my opinion, I really feel that anybody that's had a cold since December probably has been in contact with this COVID. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of people have beat it. I think a lot of people out here are asymptomatic. And I do think that people with pre-existing conditions are being affected. But then it comes into play with saying, hey, well, what's the cure? What are you trying to get? When I say something coming later on down the year, I really think that at the end of the day, they're trying to push this vaccine in.
Yeah, that's no doubt.
I can say for me,
I ain't getting it.
I ain't getting in line for this vaccine, man. So
Straight.
So that's a good point. So if you say you're not getting it, what if they say that your job requires you to have it? Okay.
Ooh.
Then next, because this is what it is. This is what they're talking about, like that mark you got to get or whatever it is. What if they say you can't travel or fly on commercial airlines without showing that you have proof that you got this vaccine?
I'm driving.
You know what I mean? So it's like, what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, those are things right there, because talking about the vaccine, I tell you what I've thought about consciously, and it's like when they said that, like in New York, first of all, we know that was an epicenter, and we're not taking it lightly. Like you said, each family has to do what they feel is best for theirs, but a lot of those bodies were just buried. They didn't get autopsies or nothing. And how can you, how can you run a test for a virus if the virus hasn't been isolated or purified? And that's what, I've heard that from scientists. And so it's like, how can you get a vaccine, but you saying you coming up with a vaccine, but you're not telling us what all is going on with this virus? And they said, like, the test, first of all, if you've had a flu shot before, even if you've been isolated for the last 4 months and you go get tested, more than likely you'll be positive. And that's crazy, because what it does, it goes back to say that the tests don't determine if you have a virus necessarily, but it says that they're looking for a genetic code, especially the genetic code that was a part of the flu vaccination. So it's looking for a genetic code so much more so than it is looking for a virus. And if you got the flu shot before and you go to get tested, then you're probably going to be fine. And I got a good friend of mine, as I conclude my part. I've had a friend that passed, close friend of the family that passed, and I got a very good friend of mine who is family. We talked last week. He texted me about 3 days ago and told me he's on a breathing machine and he's scared and he don't know if he's gonna make it. Now at the same time, we've been texting back and forth. I check on him. He's in another state, but one thing he texted me, which we always talk about, he said, it's what he said. He said, Lo, make sure you don't take your immune system for granted, right? Which goes back to a lot of things. It's like all this stuff they talking about on TV, media, they are not telling us, especially if Black people are quote unquote are susceptible to get it more than anybody else. Why are they not telling us what we need to do to take care of our bodies? To avoid from getting it?
Wow.
Why? You scaring the hell out of us, want us to stay in the house, but you not telling us what we can do to avoid it, what to eat properly, what to drink, what not to eat, what not to drink. You're not doing any of that. You just scaring the hell out of us, and then you got us looking at the person who don't have a mask crazy, and the person who do got on a mask, and vice versa. But you're not telling us how to take care of ourselves. I don't get it.
Well, one thing I can say is if you don't leave the house, you ain't got to worry about putting on the mask and compromise your system. So do you believe in just staying indoors right now?
No, I do not. It's been more suicides and deaths since this has happened than in all previous years, because people are staying in the house. We're not meant to stay in the house. We're not. And as humans, as is me, as I must say, I'm an African. I'm African American. We're not meant to stay in the house. We're meant to be outdoors.
Okay.
And that's just how I feel.
And that's even with the kids, man. You can see it with the kids. The most of the kids, the teenagers, and they go to school for that social interaction part. And you seeing a lot of the suicides and things is because that was their interaction. Now you've cut that off. So they sitting in the room, mind you, the cell phone is their best friend. But at this point, they done been on it so long. It's like, all right, when is this gonna happen where I can go out and have friends over and different things like that? So we're not meant to be isolated to one. This is where you need to be. That's not human. Like it's hard. Even for me, it's hard. Much as I like after coaching 4, 5, 6 months out the year, coming home and just being home. I'm to the point now where it's like, man, I'll go take a walk. You know what I mean? Just to ease my mind, like different, things like that, man. So you definitely not meant to stay in, and not have any type of social interaction, or what I mean. Just that's not even normal. It don't even feel normal. So,
so on a lighter note, or it's not even a lighter note. So for me, when testing first came up, what's the first image of a COVID test that you remember? In your mind? The first image of COVID testing you remember?
Oh, sticking that thing up your nose.
Boy, listen. I know it was either the nose.
Oh my God.
Or you trying listen.
The first one I seen, it had to be a needle, probably. It was a Q-tip on a stick. It was long as all outdoors. And I remember seeing the doctor grab the back of somebody's head so you couldn't run. And they stuck this swab so far up your nose, it's touching your brain. and
that's got to be your brain, man.
Listen, and a lot of people was like, "Hey, man, I ain't even going to get that test." You know what I mean? So I've heard lately that the tests are not like that; they're not that invasive. But when it was first going down, it's like, "Hey, this is pretty serious." But then it raises a question, right? Like you said, Marlon, if you had a flu shot, it sits in your system. If you had COVID, it sits in your system, right? But if I go get tested for COVID and I don't have it, what do you do then? Do you lock yourself up in the house? Or does it give you license to say I can go out because I don't have it? Or I can keep doing what I'm doing because I don't have it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you go out and you don't test positive, are you doomed? If you go out and you do test positive, what do you say? How do you guys think you should go forward after that? Because they're telling us, okay, go get tested, but I'm going to get tested to do what from there?
That's the same thing Marlon was saying. Okay, so I went and got tested, right? Okay, so negative. So I just walk out now. Like, once again, you telling everybody, to go get tested, but you ain't giving them nothing to say, okay, this is what you need to do to continue to have your immune system at a level and in which, it stays high. You know what I'm saying? They just walking back out. Like, how do you?
I'll beat it.
Right. That's
yeah.
Right. In so many words. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. They walk out like I'm beat it. So in return, because we're not meant to be in an isolated area, so of course, once they come from out of that, they think that's licensed to go and do whatever. You know what I mean? Because there hasn't been any conversation to say, okay, yeah, you're negative, but listen, this is what you need to do. This is the things you need to take, what you can stay away from. They don't give you any of that. Yeah. So you have those people have no direction of what to do. So of course, once you become stir happy and you tell me I ain't got it, you already know what's gonna happen.
So let me ask you a question right now. If wifey wasn't expecting, do you go get tested?
If what?
Your wife, she was expecting. That's the only reason I know you went and got it done. So if she wasn't expecting a child,
got what done?
Your test.
Who?
You ain't gonna get tested yet?
No. Broski, listen. Broski. Who? Look here, dog. I ain't 24.
Yeah.
We're 24. I'm out there. I ain't 24. I know what I'm like. Listen, we good over here, man. You understand? Like,
Oh man.
and if it is, then we all asymptomatic, bro. I'm just telling you the truth.
No
All
doubt.
right, so you know this. You know we all have our levels of blackness. What are some of the hood remedies you've heard that we can share with our listeners? I've heard if you take a shot of whiskey every day, you'll be all right.
As a hot toddy, you talk about
A hot toddy. They say the virus cannot survive with the whiskey. So y'all give me some of y'all remedies. What have we heard?
Man.
listen. That probably be anything I heard to deal with the hot toddy. Now I've heard. I was say like, listen, for me, I haven't heard like been in enough communication to hear some of the things
Man,
that.
you'd be surprised you talk to some older people, man.
But for real, but like my mom and my dad, and even my mother-in-law, more was telling me about just the vitamins, going about the vitamins and just making sure that you taking them every day, making sure your kids, staying on the regimen. I already had them on a regimen of taking vitamins, but just making sure that you staying on your regimen of what you're doing, and then even to the effect of, I'll go and we ride a bike or whatever, and I'll jog behind her just to get me a little exercise in, around the block, just to, keep myself up to par. But I haven't really, like, my parents, they ain't really gave no well, I know my mama ain't haven't said anything about the South Carolina aching remedy, so
okay.
she left that alone this time. So
what about you, Lo?
I hadn't really heard anything, man, to be honest with you. I ain't heard nothing crazy. I heard the whiskey part too, though, but I was like, God, that's a lot of glucose. That thing can kill you by itself.
Hey, if you tell some of us whiskey, you already know it's for the habit.
Nah, they said a shot. They didn't say indulge until you fall down.
I say I hear what you saying.
All right, so I've seen that a lot of sports stores have benefited from this time. At one point in time, we couldn't find weight benches, bicycles, scooters, skates, skateboards. You have some companies that probably will not need to order another set of bicycle for recreational use for probably the remainder of the year. How did these companies find it a way to capitalize off of this time? Or do you think it was something that was kind of, I would say, a planned push from the masses and the cabin fever that came with COVID? I know for myself, we went out and got bikes, but I went on OfferUp.
I think for some companies it just fell into their lap, like academies and things of that nature. It just happened to just because everybody's talking about you need to exercise or not even exercise. Or you're gonna be in for a while and we ain't gonna be able to go out, so they start thinking about things that they could do around the crib at home while they isolate. And other companies, obviously, like Amazon. Some of these companies made billions of dollars, doubled their value since this. And
oh yeah, they winning. I've been on Amazon a lot.
Yeah, so I don't, a lot of that is just forecast. They forecasted the right way. It's crazy, like that.
What about you?
And to be honest, if you could think back to when we was kids, all of us had a bike.
Yep, that's all the way we got around.
So for me, it was like a lot of the things that we had when we were kids, because of the times and the technology and all of that, those things came into play because that was some of the things. The only things we had to do was to ride the bike. Was and so. For me, it was more all right. Things getting back to you know, how I remember it as a kid. You know, just on your bike. Whether you, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of basketball hoops being put up in yards now.
Yeah.
As opposed to January. You know what I mean? Like, so just a lot of the things that I remember as a kid doing without having a pandemic, just something that we did. I see it like, oh, okay. Now when I was trying to tell y'all, you need a bike. You need to. Now it's like, oh yeah, we going to get a bike. You can't walk in Walmart. Ain't no bikes on the rack.
Mm-hmm.
I walked in there. I walked in there just to find some strength cords. I don't shelf clean.
Gone.
I'm like, wow.
So I look at it. I look at it as like the return of our youth, but we ain't got it no more, man. I went when everybody finally got all their bikes. First day out, you know, Matt is too, so he can't pedal his own bike. So I call myself being super dad. I get the wagon.
You ain't put the bucket on the back.
Not the bucket. He got a whole seat that it attaches behind the wheel, so it has its wheels, and I drag it. Right.
I was gonna have to get you if you had the car seat on.
Nah. So we ride about 11 miles as a family. So we know the first 6 miles, I do well. On the way back, we going against the wind.
Ooh.
The wind is going in this wagon, but it's like a covered wagon, so it's just catching it. And I realized at that moment, you ain't got it no more, bro. My thighs burning, calves burning, everything hurting, man. And my kids just riding on, they talking about me bad. But, you know, it's good to get out back in the yard and do a little, you know, cardio. It's good to get in the garage with my son and lift. And it's good to get out and ride the bikes with the family. So I did think during this time, like, as negative as they try to spin it, there's a lot of family time and family uplifting being done during this time. And I think that's something that when this period is over, I pray for every one of us, it don't end.
Yeah, I'm making it a point that it don't end. Just because of the closeness that not that we weren't before, but now it's just is because we've been around each other, you know, so much. I think you bonded a little bit more, become tighter.
Yeah.
Because like you say, we all coaches, and I know for me, it's like, yeah, I come in at 8:30, 9 o'clock, trying to put them in the bed. So it was so much hustle and bustle. And that's where I took it when it first came down. I'm like, well, man, I get to spend time, you know, and really get closer with my kids, get closer with my wife, you know what I'm saying? Really take this time to really invest some things in them, and at the same time, I get to learn a whole lot too from them. Like I had to teach I had to be the teacher for my kindergarten daughter. Listen, I'm not no elementary school teacher.
Yeah,
like that's somewhere I ain't gonna never want to get to. But I mean, for me, it was kind of rewarding just to, you know, see her learn, but at the same time be the one that's kind of like, you know, in that teacher role, because she saw me too, like, Daddy, what we doing today? What time we got this? Like, you know what I mean? So it was kind of cool. So for me, that's exactly why I took it. Like, man, I get to be with my family. Like this is like the most fun I've had as far as just hanging and laughing and watching movies and even arguing, all of that. Like it, I felt like it was the joy. So I'm definitely gonna make sure that this continues, man. However I gotta make it happen, it's just something that has become a part of us now. So
So low. You know, normally when this shutdown and all this happened, this was like the prime time for AAU season. And I know you was just getting ready to start your coaching. You know, but for you as a coach, but a father of 3 athletes, how did that time go in your home? Because I know your boys are, you know, probably
Man,
looking a lot crazy at the time.
it settled down probably about after the first month. They had to learn how to really like each other again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it just, you know, they so used to being in their own space at school with their own friends, and then when they come home or after school, they might have activities. And when they come home, we'll eat dinner together, we'll do certain things, and then they kind of go off to their own rooms again. But with this, they're around each other from sun up to sundown, and so they had to find out a ways to start liking each other, and it was great once that switch turned because they go outside. We bought a badminton
I saw that.
set and put it in the little backyard, and they hitting back and forth, everything else. And, you know, we just did some activities, man, and it was good. We went shot together, played a lot of tennis and baseball. So we just figured out some things to do, and it was good. So that's how it started. And right now they still bicker over the game, over a video game. If the video game ain't around, they Gucci, good money. Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, it was crazy because with my son, this was a summer where I had decided this was going to be the first time he wasn't going to do AAU basketball. We needed to attend some college camps for football and kind of travel the state and get some things going. And he missed out big on it. So I switched my style up and I said, you know what? I'm going to start just taping your trainings and we'll start a YouTube channel for you. And we'll get it out that way. So the same coaches that were interested in seeing you, the same coaches that may need to see you, can see you work out that way. And it's kind of paying dividends. And at the end of the day, you know, he's still receiving some of the interest in some of the things he set out for when we wrote our goals at the beginning of the year. So for me, it was a little different, but it was welcome being able to be home with all the kids, being able to spend so much time with them. That was always a benefit. So I look now at some of the things as I do my reading, and I'm going to ask this question, and you guys give me your take right quick when you read this at the bottom of the screen. True or false, more or less, what you think?
True.
More or less.
More.
And I'm gonna tell you how I look at it. Reason why I say more, because you already know your high schools are going you know, buy those things that they need for their sports, and some of them are multi-sport athletes. So, but I look at it from the youth level. Like with a lot of the youth kids now trying to and that's a whole nother topic, but specializing in just one thing, they buying the parents are buying a whole lot of that one thing or training in that one thing. So I look at it from the youth level that those they really getting that 12 billion.
Yeah.
If you put it like that.
I agree.
So then it rolls into the question of how does this affect sports or impact sports? When you kind of look at it, is it lasting? What's your take? Because we've all kind of seen it now. I've seen just how it affects ESPN.
How does it affect everything? Well, I think it's going to affect. First of all, it's going to affect football. If the fall is closed down, then it's going to affect football. And football is the number one at the Power Fives in most schools. Football is the number one contributor of bringing in finances to the institution. Basketball is second. So if football is not going for the fall, then all these sports, it's going to affect the spring sports who use that money from football to travel. It's gonna go a long ways.
So, do you feel that college football tried to come back too soon?
Nah,
I don't think they try to come back too soon. I just don't think they had a decent enough plan in place, if I say it like that. Just because, with college, you're coming from different areas. So, those you gotta, you can't plan for it in a sense, but you gotta kind of know, like, all right, this may be and I think majority of the athletes kind of knew, like, all right, it's a possibility. And so you could have had some things in place that may have been a little different, but I don't think it started too early because with football, you gotta get on it without having a spring, without having a full off season type of workout and things like that. You gotta kind of get back ASAP because you're running into another man per se.
Okay.
So it's not one of those things where, and then even with that, you got to have continuity with the other guys. So for football, it's very hard to do social distancing. It's almost non-existent.
No question.
Because everything we do, you got 11 or so people on the field. You got a huddle. How you gonna travel to the game? Like it's we don't have all that money like NFL to buy all the buses, and so it's kind of hard to say, oh, you got to be social there. How you gonna do that, man? Like, so you can't do it. So for me, it's like it was almost like, okay, they come back too late, so now you come back too late, so now all the guys getting hurt because it's a different level. When you working out, yeah, but it's a different level when we start pushing and pulling each other. You know what I mean? So,
and we pile on that pile.
Yeah, I don't think it was too early. Because football wise, you got to do that because some of them won't be supposed to go home. They don't even come home for the summer.
Yeah.
So,
and they kind of forced everybody off the campuses. At the end of the spring because of COVID. So for the ones that probably wouldn't have went back to the impoverished areas or the high volume areas, any kid going back down to South Florida, and that probably wasn't even the best idea at the time.
No, definitely not.
Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. I think they said some football teams had some kids come down with COVID, right?
Mm-hmm. A lot. Okay.
So with all due respect to everybody, have we heard any of those type of kids? Anything bad happen to them? Anything? Or have they recovered? They recovered?
All right. So basically, what I've been hearing is when a kid is positive, they quarantine them in a separate dorm. Or they have a quarantine unit for the kids that test positive for 14 days. And they just keep working out with the other kids, but they are nursed back to health. And then they're thrown back into the masses.
Can you catch it more than once? Like the flu?
I don't think so. So that was I'm glad you asked that because you rolled right into where I was going.
Okay. Wait.
Are athletes more resistant? Their immune system should be higher.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And that goes back to what we talked about earlier. Why are they not talking about people having working on their immune systems? Why are they not telling people like every day you need to go outside?
But I think they have when they encourage us to go get some bicycles and take long walks, and jogs.
But I don't think that was encouraged though. I just think that happened because people were getting bored.
That was a natural reaction.
Yeah, that's a natural thing to go to.
Because ain't nobody on TV saying that. Ain't none of that.
And none of that, man.
Be careful, the numbers are going up. You know what I'm saying? So I got a group. It's funny. It's not a group, but I'm on Facebook, and I said last time. So me and a friend of mine, he a head coach here in Houston, been doing it for a long time, and he tells me all the time about the numbers going up. These people, COVID's going up. He said, remember about 2 weeks ago, they said ICU was full of beds, right?
Yeah.
Well, we had to remember they had just allowed outpatient surgeries and surgeries to come, so all those beds was full. That's how it was 80% full. So now when they said the COVID, now those other people coming in, and that's what they kind of. That's how it's getting full, but that don't necessarily mean that these people are dying now. And how is it that the COVID get a chance to decide when they want to be here and when they don't want to be here? You were here during the riot, people stay inside, put a mask on. But all of a sudden, ain't none of them people in the hospital. But all of a sudden, you got some athletes in the hospital now. You got football. You know what I'm saying? All these come on, man.
How many went downtown in Houston for the march that day?
Huh?
I say, how many people were downtown?
Oh, Houston? Thousands, and they didn't social distance
at all.
and it's probably you saw a lot of masks on, but you saw a lot of masks off. You saw a lot of masks off, and it's just like, come on, man. I mean, like, what we doing here? And that's just kind of why people call me. You can say I'm weird or whatever, but they just.
Ain't nobody calling me weird.
The brain is a powerful thing. Mm-hmm. If you know how it is, if you believe that something is going to get you sick or you ate the wrong thing, your mind starts to feel like you're going to get sick or whatever. And if you continue to allow these people to say this stuff to you on TV, they're telling you everything. Who benefits from this? That's all I say.
Follow the dollar.
Follow the dollar.
Follow the dollar. So, okay. So with that then, right? Let's talk about the NBA.
Uh-huh.
The mighty dollar.
Inside the bubble, baby.
They coming to your state, Matt.
Hey, listen, they come do what they want to do.
They gonna kick it in Miami too.
That three out of the way. I ain't gonna be able to see that.
They coming. They coming.
They coming.
So how do you feel about this, Lo?
About which part? The NBA opening up?
The NBA opening back up, all in one city. People coming from all over the country, all over the world. The NBA is not just a United States league. You have players from all over the globe that have went back to various areas.
Yeah.
So now you're bringing everybody in one city. Do you feel
families can't come at one time?
Yeah.
They want you to quarantine when you first get there. They want the coaches going to have to wear certain rings around their neck like a dog collar or something. So if they get too close within 6 feet, it'll beep. They want the players to wear this little ring that monitors they sleeping. Basically, it's a tracking device, so they can tell when you go to sleep, when you get up. They talk about it can detect if you having COVID, if you're getting COVID up to 3 days before you actually get it. Well, if that's the case, why aren't they giving that to the world then? Why don't you tell us all how to work it? So they're using the players. This is an opinion. They're making their money. They're making sure they get that TV money that they would have lost. Also, they want to make sure that they find a way to make that the players earn their money, and they're using the players as test dummies, test subjects as well. That's just an idea, but it's about the money. So all of a sudden now it's about the money. Now, do you think, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead. This is Dobbs, baby. This is what it's for.
Who's one of your favorite players, Cecil? Give me a big time name that you really like.
I'll just go with this one. I'll go Steph.
You think if Steph get COVID that they're gonna find out? You think you people gonna find out? Do you think he actually get it while he there? While we're trying to make this money?
No, I don't think you're gonna get it right though.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's just too much going on. So when they say they're gonna give you this ring so we can determine it 3 days in advance, he was getting it, but we shut it down. Go on to play, Steph. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't like. We gotta start thinking about this stuff, man. This is commerce.
About
commerce.
This is the first I heard about this dog color for the coaches.
Yeah.
So it's gonna shock them too.
Hey, if it's ringing, that basically is shocking to keep it. I think they gotta all wear masks. I don't know if they gotta wear masks when they on the bench or whatever, but they all gotta wear masks. And it's like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about here? It's gonna be no fans there, right?
Right.
And if everybody's isolated
already, right?
The bubble, why gotta wear a mask still?
Yeah, that's
how you see it.
I think so. They're pushing the narrative. I mean, hey, tell me where I'm wrong, and we can. You can argue affirmative or whatever.
I'm asking you because I don't know. You know what I mean? My thing is I see that it's two major organizations pushing to make sure they make this money. College football. They say they ain't missing the $4 billion. They can't. And then the NBA.
But not you haven't heard, but I'm gonna tell you, the other one behind that is the NFL. Now, don't get it. Look at for instance, look at TB12. They told him we don't want y'all working out. TB12 got half the team. You see what I'm saying? Like I say, those major, the basketball, football, the major entities, they gonna get that bread. Now I don't care about that. They may not have no fans, but that TV money.
So did you hear the report about the Lakers and their secret practices in Bel Air?
Nah, I ain't heard that one.
So apparently there's some billionaire with a replica Lakers practice court or something that they've been meeting at, holding practices. But now you got players opting out, not going to the bubble. Do you think this is going to be a trend to follow with baseball, who just stated they're going to start 7 days before before NBA starts, or with NFL teams report the training camp?
People opting out, you mean?
Opting out. People leaving the money.
Not baseball, because it's the start of the season.
Okay.
I don't think the big wigs gonna fall out.
Yeah, Avery Bradley opted out because I think a couple people opted out from the NBA is basically about family.
Yeah.
But they said if you had a valid reason, you can opt out and you still get paid. Yeah. I don't think there's anybody opting out that don't have that valid reason, because you can't afford to miss a game check of 95,000, 80,000, 103.
Well, it's certain ones can't afford.
Hey, it is supposed to be how you can start some social change, but people want to make that money.
So how do you feel about that when it comes to that? Do you take the side of Kyrie, Steven Jackson, or do you feel that all the players coming together in one place could have all eyes, where they start to have that common response for the interviews, instead of asking? You can ask me a question about how my game went, and we can all have a unified statement.
Yeah,
I think I was talking to you about that, right?
Yeah. I think that. Man. Well, I gotta be careful, man. I don't want to be throwing stuff out crazy.
I got you, baby.
And anybody, but I think that I tell friends all the time, man. And I heard this years and years ago from a rich Jewish person, and he's a really good guy. But he told me, that when it come down to it, the conversation amongst him and his brethren are black people can't say no to money. So whenever you need something, just put the money out in front of them because they ain't gonna say no. And even if it's for the right cause, they say black people can't say no to money, and we sell each other out over the smallest of bills. So somebody might be right. Maybe they know us better than we know ourselves. So tough. I ain't know whether to be offended by that or not, but I appreciated his comment to telling me that because that's something that he had to tell me. And since then, I've always noticed, because he told me a little bit more to look at, and I've always noticed who's willing to say no. And the main person that has said no and everybody recognizes is Dave Chappelle.
Oh yeah, he turned down.
Not many other people that say no, bro.
Yeah,
not many people that say no.
I don't think a lot of people get what Chappelle did, man. He turned down a lot of money, boy.
And he moved away from Hollywood. He moved to Ohio, dog. He didn't want his kids to be around that atmosphere. Think about it.
Yeah, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get out of here, I'm just gonna ask you this: what do you feel has to happen before we can get sports back totally the way we used to? Because there ain't no playbook for it.
Go ahead, Cecil. What you reading?
Man, take them vitamins, man.
They giving the league vitamins?
Huh?
They giving the league vitamins?
Hey, whatever they give them in that blender. Okay. I mean, listen. First of all, it's just get back to normal. I mean, like my thing is, like you said, it's no playbook. So when they say, "Oh, we got a vaccine," that's back to normal. Okay, so what if you got a 50,000 arena and 25,000 ain't got the vaccine? Like, I don't think it's gonna be no. It was never no normal. Like, it was always something that had split. So for me, it's like, just when we gonna get back, just the regular, old. Okay, this is what it is. This is what you do to not get it. This is what you do to keep yourself up. Boom, let's go. It's just it's becoming. I hate to say it, but it's becoming so old, bro. Like, there ain't nobody saying nothing about what you do to keep yourself. Like, nobody. Come on.
I mean, you saying it right now. So.
No, I mean, like, just the ability to give yourself the what you need, because we as black people, we don't take our vitamins like that. Yeah. Just be real with you. We don't
not daily.
Not daily.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah, a lot of people. But you know what I'm saying? We just get up and go on about our day or whatever like that. But
some people don't even brush their teeth in the morning.
Right. Right. So for me, it's just like, okay, something that, number one, we should have been doing from the jump street to combat a lot of the other things that's already out here that we know about. So getting back to it, personally, everybody got to take care of themselves, man. Like, and like Marlon say, you do some research. Do some research to tap into some things. And like we had the other talk, and I wanted to tell Marlon before we got off, I need to get some of them sites that he on. I need to get some of them sites. I got a lot. I got nothing to do.
That's what's up. So, I don't think it'll go away until after the election.
Ooh.
I do think that this is political. I do.
I'm glad you said that, my brother.
I do.
I'm
I don't
glad you
think it'll
said
go
that.
away after the election. One, depending on who wins, it might go away. If the other two, it might stay longer.
So I'm glad. Ooh, I'm glad you put it like that. So you made a statement earlier about these shots.
Uh-huh.
So you really feel that they're gonna start to put a mandate that to keep your job, to keep your employment, you
They
got
are.
to get the shot?
I think they'll do that. I think they'll try to leave it up to your job as discretionary for your job. If think about this as a school teacher, if
Hey,
they
come on,
if
man.
they not want kids to be affected,
Come on, man.
they got to make sure that the educator, the person who's ahead of them, has been vaccinated. They say vaccinated because your kid's going to be around. I think that they'll do that. In order for you to keep your job to come in here, you got to prove that you've got this shot, because they say if you get this shot, it's going to decrease the number of this and that and that. And we want to make sure you're around these children, somebody else's children, and we got to make sure that you're straight.
So are we gonna have a bunch of teachers falsifying documents?
If they could, they would. But I think that they're gonna try to be. It's gonna be some on-site stuff.
Ooh.
I think it's gonna be some on-site stuff where they gonna have to tell you that they the doc. First of all, you gotta remember, in 1983, we got 3 shots over our lifetime. After 1983, now it's up to children get up to 75 shots now. It's the Bail Dole Act, right? BAHYL/Dole, DOLE, right? And that's how people are starting to get paid for vaccinations and everything else. So these doctors get money every time they stick these kids. That's how they got up. That's how so many shots now. Everybody getting paid for this. So therefore, if they tell you, your doctor, if you're a teacher, whomever you are, you got to go in and get a shot, they getting paid. They getting a couple $100 for that, like $400-500 for each shot. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. Like the week you come back, like for pre-planning, I can see that. I can see that.
I mean, I'm not, and it's. I think what it is whoever the administration is, all this stuff that's going around, it's fear tactics, man. It's scare tactics. They scare the hell out of them. And a parent gonna be like, think about this. A parent be like, if the kid gets sick, was that teacher vaccinated? If the teacher wasn't vaccinated, guess what they're gonna think they can sue the school, sue the superintendent, sue the district. You see what I'm saying? So as a district, don't you feel like that you got to be responsible for that? You gonna make sure that your employees are vaccinated?
Hey, man. I think Marlon's just trying to mess with me right now, man.
Just saying, man.
So what you saying? I'm gonna follow the dollar.
I ain't saying I ain't gonna tell you what you're doing, man.
We just gotta make this what we doing here official.
Already.
I need to get me some. I need to get some sponsors behind this.
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all. Hey, if you listening, I know how to play the game. If you're listening to this right now, hit that thumbs up button, tap subscribe. Make sure you share it with a friend of yours. Make sure you get these viewerships up. Make sure that, hey, difference of opinion, you gotta let it blow it up. Make sure Ken's straight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And Cecil, make sure that they straight.
You got a decision to make, man.
Yeah.
Because that vaccination needle probably gonna be long as that corona test needle.
And in previous years, they say it takes up to 10 years before to see if a vaccine actually works. But right now, whoever get it, let's just keep it a buck. They test subjects. They test dummies, man.
Hey, I see you put a post out today on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
They started testing in Africa already, huh?
They try. I actually hit somebody. Oh shit, I'm getting a cramp. I actually hit somebody over there, man. And they try. It hasn't started yet, but that's what they're gonna try to do.
Oh man.
It's tough, man. Cause it's like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Yeah.
You already in South Africa, some of the places where they're gonna try to do it, Johannesburg, you already at I'm good now. You already below poverty. So if you tell they gonna it's like how they gonna how you gonna
Yeah.
tell them no?
Yeah.
It's tough, man. That those type of things bother me a little bit, but it's tough, man.
Man, I think it bothers us all, man. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give everybody our personal health takes on how to stay above the curve.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with C. What you got, man?
Take them vitamins, man. Keep yourself active in some retrospect. Even get your kids outside, and move around with them, and get yourself some exercise. To keep your immune system up. Make sure you get plenty of rest. Just the things that we should be doing on a normal basis. I think you just gotta make sure you're getting that done now, just to keep yourself on a level where your immune system is high enough to go ahead and fight off what it need to fight off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where you at, Lo?
I would say first of all, you need to drink a gallon of water a day, spring water, not that water that say alkaline water on it, but natural.
Please tell them what spring water is.
Spring water is natural water of the earth. That alkaline bottle that y'all got that say with that black label on there, it's alkaline. Look at the back; it's got ingredients in it. Water ain't got no ingredients in it. So that means that they putting something in there to make it the pH level go up. So you mess around and get some gallstones or something about 5 years from now. But anyway, drink a gallon of spring water a day. It cleanses your system. I would say I go back to where we originally from is Africa. What do we eat? We ate nuts, we ate fruits, we ate vegetables, we ate grains, and we had the 90% of Nile River is catfish. So if you need to eat meat, eat some catfish, but nuts, especially walnuts, they got selenium in it. Grains, fruits, vegetables, everything of the earth, organic, and that's gonna help you along with your water. And don't tell me you eat no tilapia, because when the last time you heard somebody go fish and caught some tilapia?
Yeah.
Y'all cut that out.
All right, I just caught 100 tilapia. For me, man, a lot of vitamin D3. D3 is very good for us as a race. Turmeric, oranges. For us, those are some of the things that for the kids, I make sure they eat a lot of oranges. We put a lot of turmeric in things that we cook. And we try to keep a lot of garlic on hand. So if you're cooking with garlic, just to keep your pH levels over a certain level. But taking your vitamins, of course, drinking water, but rest as well. A lot of us, our sleeping is so off right now that our immune system is thrown off. I don't care how well you eat and treat yourself without proper rest, you weaken your system as well. So it's making sure you get adequate rest and doing the things that you need to do to keep yourself safe. But those things are paramount for us as a race, as a culture, to stay good during this time. And I just think at the end of the day, stay active, get some fresh air. Do not stay cooped up in your house, circulating, what's in your house all day. Open a window. Let some fresh air in your house. Mm-hmm. Open the doors. Sit in your garage. Ride a bike. Exercise with your family. But, even if you go out and take a drive with the windows down, as hot as it may be in Houston, as hot as it may be in Florida, when you're on the highway and you letting it roll, it cool down, you know what I mean? But if you got to go out early in the morning or late in the afternoon when it get a little cooler, just you got to get out. We definitely have to get out and do a lot more for us. We do go across because we are building a home. So just if that gives us something to do to go across town and so on and so forth. But going to the park to work out with my kids, I do get out the house. So, those are different things that we're doing. I think everybody should keep it up and go from there.
And for those religious people, like you said, go outside and spend some time with the original sun. It does your body good. I'm sorry, I just no sun. That's the sun. Nah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, man. That's another conversation, man. I apologize.
Hey, man. It's while we on DOPS. I'm gonna let you have your moment. Well, I'm gonna bring some people on here for you from all religions.
Hey, that night I'm taking everything off and just watching.
Hey, look. They're gonna have some signs say, "I want Marlon."
I'm with it. We have some fun.
Oh man, this was fun, man. Until we get on again, man. You guys have a good one.
You too.
All right.